Hello and welcome back. It's Tuesday. So all we need to work on then is do the warm-up that we normally do, finish the Section 3 France reading guide, whether you be in class or at home, and then begin the Chapter 8 analysis. This is a new assignment, but let's go back to that warm-up document first. So with that, the warm-up question is, what makes a world power a world power? So what qualities or attributes would you associate with a world power? Okay. I don't want to give you any more insights to that, but the United States today is considered a world power. So is China, for example. But you can even think of Britain, Russia, and France. They were considered world powers at the time. Obviously, Britain was the strongest, though, out of the three. But what makes a world power world power? Okay. All right. Our objective is to explore how the revolution brought about democracy in France. And that's basically it, with you finishing up your reading guide. And then we're going to compare Britain, Russia, and French reforms/revolutions. So we're going to compare these three world powers with this new activity, which is the Chapter 8 comparison activity, which would be due tomorrow, Wednesday at home. So I would encourage you to get to this as quickly as you can. It would be nice to get help from people in class. Okay. Well, that's if you're in class, I guess. All right, so let's look at this analysis. So the first question is, which characteristics is most significant to determine whether or not a country is considered a world power? Now, that is an overarching question. That is not what you're really focusing on, though, when you first start this activity, okay? You're going to be using this graphic organizer to organize information for each of the three nations addressed in this chapter. The information should be recorded below, provide evidence, and the recorded information should provide the evidence needed to support your thesis statement. So let's do this first one together, at least a couple of them here. So it says, to what extent is there a separation of church and state? So I'm not going to tell you how to do this. If you want to go try to find the place in the chapter where it talks about that thing, you can do that, or you can use your handy dandy search option, Control F. And like, for example, I'm typing in church. Okay, now it might not always be called church. You could type in religion or something like that. But if we look, if you remember, then Russia had the Orthodox Church, okay, and they persecuted, Armenians, Jews, and Muslims. So we know there's a pretty close alignment. So with Alexander III, he supported nationalism and people to discriminate and even attack Jews, for example, with those pogroms. Or, geez, I'm saying it wrong. What is it called again? Pogroms. Oh, I did say it right. All right. So, finding that was really helpful, and it gets me to that part of the chapter that I'm trying to find. So then I would put that in there. Russia under Alexander III supported pogroms, which discriminated against others. They had the state church was really the Orthodox Catholic Church in Russia. So that's what I would put in this box. I'm not just going to say close, far away. No, you got to give examples or evidence, okay, to support it. Now, you don't have to give so much that, whatever room you have inside this box, that should do it for you. So a couple sentences here would make sense. Let's look at France. So I'm just going to pop down to France here. And as you read, though, you can see there was a close relationship between the Catholic Church and France. But later there was government policies that actually closed schools run by churches and monasteries. And in 1905, they did pass a law to separate church and state. It's funny, it's not really separated as much as you would think. It's actually closer than what America has right now. But yeah, so they allowed, Jews, Catholics, and Protestants were all free to worship, though. So much more separation there. All right, so you have to find in the text, or unless you remember from notes or you remember specifics, you'll likely have to go back to the text to be able to answer this, okay? So you'll go ahead and fill out the entire chart before Wednesday, okay? So this takes a little bit of time, all right? Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. I want you guys to wrap it up tomorrow while you're at home, and then we will do lecture notes on Thursday, and then the quiz will be Friday, which would be a nice way to kind of end the chapter, okay? All right, there you go, guys. I'll see you Thursday.